Hey guys, how you doing? My name is Lena. Welcome back to another video. So today we're once again talking about underrated series and underrated books in general. I love doing this type of video. Not gonna lie. I just love finding new underrated gems. It's just a passion of mine. Every time that I see a book with low ratings, not like low ratings, but few ratings, I'm just like, hey. Some of these are a little bit more popular than others, but most of them have under 1,000 ratings, which is pretty low. But yeah, let's just get started. So a lot of them are series that I've been reading this year and completing this year. And this first one is going to be Soulkeeper by David Dalglish. I love this series this year, basically. I've been read the whole trilogy and it's just so cool. If you just like Monster Hunter in general, you're going to really like this. I don't know with what book to compare it, but it has something similar. For example, when I first talked about this book, I said that it was what I wanted The Witcher to be, basically, and I'm going to stand by that because I was expecting so much of that trilogy, of that series, and it didn't deliver for me. But this one, straight to the point, especially this first half, very much like running away and fighting monsters. We're basically going to follow two main POVs, two siblings basically, and the first one, he is a monster hunter basically. Well, he's kind of a priest, let's call him a priest because he is, but he basically hunts monsters, and he comes across this village at the first part of the book, and he discovers some very like horror things in there, some kind of zombies that are coming back and trying to kill more people. So he goes back to town to say, hey, something weird is going on. At the same time, we're going to follow his sister. She has the magic basically, and she's part of this also priesthood to help the poor, to help cure everyone and such. And you know, their paths get intertwined because of this new horror. I know that the description sounds vague, but there's just so much to the story that it's very difficult to just condense on one single like summary. But hunting monsters, definitely recommended. There's a scene on book 2 that has to do with birds. Unbelievable. But I just really liked it overall. I would highly recommend it. Extremely underrated. Then let's just talk a little bit about sci-fi. Talked about this one a couple of videos ago, but this is Symbiosis by I always say Bruno Puelles. And the thing is, I've been trying so hard to find a good Spanish science fiction book. So hard. It's been a terrible search, honestly, but this one was it. This one was it. It's probably one of my favorite books by now, honestly. The more I think about it, the more I like it. But basically in this world, humans live with aliens. They are symbionts. And now everyone is kind of divided between a symbiont, like an alien and a human person. And I just love the concept that the name tells you if they are a symbiont or not. Like 99% of the population is a symbiont, but you have people like, for example, the name Bruno, because it has an O, it cannot be a symbiont because they cannot pronounce the O. It's just such a cool touch. But basically we're going to follow the investigation of a serial killer that is killing non-symbiont humans. So a lot to unpack in here. Love the narration. It's just like many different POVs that have like a little detail that entails the whole story. It's just amazing. I really love it. It has also mixed media thrown in there to show you how the world developed after the symbiosis. It's just super cool. I cannot recommend this one enough. Pisses me off that it wasn't the winner of the fucking Minotaur Award. And it was the other one, the one that I read at the beginning of the year, which was fucking shit. Unbelievable. This one I've been thinking a lot lately, and I feel like I might reread it. The Liar of Red Valley by Walter Woodwater. The thing is, this one, when I read it, reminded me a lot of The Rules for Banishing. What is the other one? Hold Back the Tide. The type of like more young horror stuff, but very engaging and intriguing. I just really like this one overall. I really think I should read it, probably listen to it as an audiobook. But we're going to be set on Red Valley, and in here it's kind of a special place. We have the figure of the liar, we have the king who rules everything, so the monsters cannot cross the river. And then, you know, the figure of the liar is very complicated because they can grant you wishes, in exchange of truths, it's just super complicated at first, but it makes sense the more you read it. It's just super cool. I just really liked it. There's of course like monsters, horror stuff in here. Amazing. I just really liked it when I read it, and I feel like not enough people have given it a shot. This is probably the most known out of all of these, but I just cannot stop talking about the series. Mask of Mirrors by Emma Carrick. This is actually a pseudonym. It's a combination of two very well-known authors. I just cannot remember the name right now, but one is the author of Lady Trent, and it's just so cool. If you like The Lies of Locomora, definitely this one is for you. There's a lot of like trying to be the smart ass in the room, but in this one we're basically going to follow two different characters. The first two is a couple of friends, but they are actually like treated like sisters, and they are trying to pretend that they are part of this noble family. Well, one of them is. The other one is trying to pass as her servant, basically, and they are trying to infiltrate the noble court of the city to just inherit some money, you know. And the other one that we have here is like a mask hero. It's just super cool, honestly. I just love this one so much. It has a lot of court intrigue, which is something that I love in books. Again, summary very vague, but there's so much to the plot of this story. So much. The magic is also really cool, but book 2, I just really love. Both of them were 5 stars for me. Amazing. I cannot wait for the third book. I think it's the conclusion already. It's coming out later in the year. Cannot wait. It's just so good. Extremely underrated. The Hand of the Sun King by J.T. Greathouse. This first book, everything that the name of the wind should be, honestly. If you're like me, you're not on board with them, read this one. It's just super cool. I just love when we follow a character with ambition, honestly. But in this first one, we're going to follow Wen. And Wen has two very distinct paths ahead of him, basically. The first one is following the path of his father, a very loyal subject to the Empire, and basically become the Hand of the Sun King so he can wield magic. The other one is following the path of his grandmother, who wielded like a forbidden magic, and they were actually crushed by the Empire. So we've been very divided. So we're basically going to follow his choices. Mostly he's very dumb at times, not gonna lie, but book 2 was a little bit disappointed to me. I was going into it with high hopes after reading this one and loving it. I just love this first book so much. But still, I will read the third book that is coming out this month, next month, very soon actually. I'm just so excited. It's the pattern of the world. It's great. I love the magic system in here. Like, it's just super cool. But yeah, a lot of political intrigue too, because he's a minister at a time. It's just amazing. Cannot recommend it enough. This one, I've already talked about it, but it's just great. This is the Helm of Midnight by Marina Lostetter. I read it last year. This is horror dark fantasy. It's just the best. I read a book 2 this year, I believe, and I didn't love it as much as book 1. But with book 1, I had to read it a couple of times to just get the full potential, so I'll probably need to read The Cage of Dark Hours a couple of times too. But in this one, we're set in this world where magic comes from the use of masks. And the masks are embodied basically with the spirit of a person, and that grants the magic, basically. The thing is, the mask of a serial killer is on the loose, and the killings are happening again. So we're going to follow this investigator as she's trying to find it, basically. But there's just so much. There's also like another timeline. Well, 2 other timelines, actually. We have different POVs. It's just so much also. But the story, the atmosphere of this book, on another level. We also have like monsters here. It's just so cool. It has everything. It has everything. It's just a mix. It's such a mix of different genres. I just love it so much. Again, a little bit more sci-fi. We have here The Immortality Thief by Taran Hunt. Yes, I read it at the beginning of the year, and I was really surprised by it. I had like moderate expectations, but it definitely surpassed it. It's a chunker. For being a sci-fi, they're usually shorter, and it's actually part 1 of a series. I always thought that it was a standalone. It is not. But this is also a little bit of sci sci-fi horror, a little bit of space opera, a little bit of dark humor. We have a little bit of everything. But our main character here is offered the chance of rotting in jail or going into this Delaric ship, recover the secret of immortality, and then get freed, basically. So he decides to go there. There's these aliens that are actually also trying to get into the ship. A lot going on. Definitely humor is there. It's not like a very deep type of read, but I love the horror elements. Are not that huge, but they are definitely there, and the space opera elements were also great. The story is super cool. I actually cannot wait for book 2. I will definitely reread it before book 2 because there's like so much going on. Like, it's such a chunker. I wasn't expecting it when I first got it, but yeah, definitely a surprise. Down to the last 3. This one, I've talked about it so many times. I will still talk about it. City of Lies by Sam Hawke. Super underrated political fantasy, honestly. This is set on a siege city, and we're going to follow 2 siblings. One of them is a poisoner, well, the taster for the young king that comes into power after the uncle of our main character and the actual king get poisoned. So there's a lot of turmoil. The city ends up under siege, and then we're going to follow Jovan, who is the taster, and then his sister, who is usually the one who maneuvers through all the politics of this town. I just cannot remember her name right now, but actually Hollow City is more focused on her, so if you like that part more, you're probably going to like that. But I just love their overall. Honestly, there's just so much going on, but at the same time it's just such a slow pace read. I know a lot of people didn't like it, but it's a shit city, you know? There's just like so much that you can do. But I just really like uncovering the mystery and the conspiracy, and I just love how the chapters start basically with different poisons and what they do. It's just super cool. And book 2 starts with different assassinations using those poisons. Super cool touch. It's just such a great part of world building. I just loved it so much. Will highly recommend it. Down to the last 2. The first one, Vagabonds by Hao Jin Fang. I really like this, but I do have to say that it was very sad. I don't know why, but this book has such an oppressive atmosphere. I don't know how to describe it, but I was just sad every time that I listened to it. It just gave me those feelings, and I didn't know how to act accordingly. It was just super bizarre, but it's basically about following both Earth and Mars. There are very different planets and societies, so we're constantly fighting between which one is better. We have like a more communist aspect on Mars, and then just, you know, your usual capitalist stuff on Earth. But there's a lot going on here. I love the part where we explore some ancient ruins that were like a previous settlement on Mars. There's a lot of talk about, you know, belonging and not belonging. There's just so much going on in here. Definitely a deep read, but it's also like very slow pace and just sad. Just so sad in general. And the last one is going to be probably my favorite like new edition of the year, Kingdom of Liars. This whole trilogy is just amazing. It has one of my favorite things, which is memory magic. It's just so cool, man. But basically in this world, the more you use your magic, the more memories you lose, and you cannot get them back. Once they are done, for example, the name of someone, you will never get it back, and you will never even hear it from other people. Like, it's just completely blocked because of the magic, and you will hear like a gap. It's just so cool. But you're going to follow Michael, and he's the son of a king killer. He was an exile, and now he's back and tried to restore the family name, basically the Kingsman family name. And of course there's a lot of plot twists here due to the memory magic. It's amazing. The last twist of this series was just so cool in general. But yeah, the third book is also amazing. Like, it has such a twist with the timelines and such. But this first book is a great introduction. We also have like a shattered moon, which just gives like an extra ambience and atmosphere. It was great. I cannot recommend this one enough. It's just extremely underrated. So yeah, those were my new underrated reads. Have you read a book recently that you think is underrated? Please just let me know in the comments below. And as always, I will see you in the next one. Bye.
you.